We might have just discovered the next Lulu stock. For those not familiar, Lulu is the ticker symbol for Lululemon Athletica, the Canadian athletic apparel retailer that's one of the fastest growing apparel brands of all time. Their stock is up 3,000% from their IPO back in 2007, and they've had less than 60 stores in the US and Canada at the time. When I say that we discovered the next Lulu, I have to give credit to the amazing Dumb Money Discord community who actually discovered this one, specifically a guy who goes by the name of One Prestige Worldwide 11 and also Ragin Ryan. They both posted high conviction trade docs about the stock, and if you're not a part of the Discord community, dumbmoney.tv/Discord, completely free. If you've paid attention there, you might already know the company. Some people in the community have been talking about this since last year. But like Lulu, it's a Canadian retail brand. It's not something that was on my radar at all, but if you're a girl on TikTok, I bet you've heard of them. You might even be #obsessed with them. Today on Dumb Money, we will reveal the stock and why we invested over $1 million in it. We are Dumb Money.
Three friends who turned $30,000 into $30 million using nothing more than Twitter and a zero commission trading account.
The suits that work on Wall Street, they call those people the smart money. That's not us.
Our goal is to help level the playing field for everyday investors.
We are Dumb Money.
Hey there, Dave here along with Chris and Jordan. We are Dumb Money. Welcome to Dumb Money Live International Edition. I am in a little town called Todos Santos in southern Baja right now. Chris and Jordan holding down the fort at home. Guys, before we reveal the stock that we're talking about, I do need to ask a quick favor for everybody out there. If you'll just take a second and smash the like button, it really does help us out with the YouTube algorithm. Chris, Jordan, let's talk about this company, because it's one that was actually founded. It's an older company than Lululemon. They were founded 14 years before. It was founded in 1984, so it is older than most of their super fans on TikTok.
Yeah, Dave, we have to put a disclaimer, and this is an important one because it's a relatively small company. And listen, guys, we're not financial advisors. This is our trade that we source from our community. We invite you to poke holes in the trade thesis and to help us track this company over the next coming months and years. For me, it's a long-term social arb trade. It's not a short-term trade. This is not an earnings trade for me. And I'm not $1 million in yet. I think I'm like 400K in. I'd like to be $1 million in, but there is one huge risk that we will talk about before this episode ends. And this risk factor is preventing me from going all in on this trade today. Okay, so I'm in partially in my $1 million trade, but not fully. And I will explain what that risk is at the end of this episode. But guys, I am super excited about this trade. And I will say this, remember when I talked about giving money away to members of our community who did a good job just surfacing opportunities, social arb opportunities? This is one of those situations. I'm so proud of our community. I'm so pissed at myself for missing the first time this was announced in our community that I am going to, just as a little token of appreciation, I know it's not a lot of money, I'm going to Venmo $500 to each of the 2 community members who had a high conviction trade report on this stock. So Discord mods, if you would help me identify an email address or Venmo or Apple Pay for each of these 2 high conviction trade reports, I'm going to Venmo $500 today to each of them, just as a token of appreciation. And I'm going to do stuff like that every single week. I'm going to find someone and Venmo money for contributing to the community. So that said, should we unveil the company?
Yeah, I mean, are you ready?
Well, no, I'm not ready because I'm going to.
Because you're never ready.
I'm going to love to say this. This company does not trade in the U.S. other than a small tracking ADR ticker. And what does that mean? If you trade the ADR, it is not liquid. And if you overpay for the ADR, they will run up the stock on that ADR and you will get ripped off. So I would highly recommend thinking twice before you go out and buy the US ADR for this ticker. And if you were to do that, I would not pay up for it, right? Because it will come right back down, okay, the next day.
Yeah.
So
I actually did invest in the ADR, but I looked, and historically it tracks it pretty closely. The liquidity thing is a big problem, but I just put a limit order in at where I thought it would track properly, and it took a little bit of time, but it did fill. So that's the way I played it.
It's not my vacuum, guys. That noise is coming from Dave.
It's got to be coming from Dave.
Yeah, I'm sitting outside, and there's obviously anytime you turn on a live video, there turns into a construction scene across the street. So,
All right, let's talk about it. We're talking about approachable luxury, minimally chic, the parallels to Lululemon, and one of my other favorite trades of all time, Five Below. This is so similar to my Five Below trade years ago and to my Lululemon trade years ago. It's really bringing back great memories. It really
because they basically, we haven't even said the company yet. We need to reveal it, but they've basically taken high-end luxury, made it more approachable, still a higher price point. It's not Five Below cheap. It's not what other retailer? What's
It's Lululemon-like pricing, I would say. It's middle of the road pricing, but here's the thing: the most important thing about this brand is its cult following. Very similar vibes to Lululemon early days. It does have a cult following, and by the way, similar to Five Below's cult following. Every time Five Below would open up in a new city, customers would be freaked out. They'd be lining up because they're like, oh, we finally got a Five Below. I've heard about this through my friends in other cities. Well, every time they open up a new store in the US, people freak out because they're like, oh my gosh, I've been buying them online. I've been seeing this on TikTok, through social media. We finally have one here in our city, and you have that same type of reaction. It's really cool to see.
Well, the other thing is you've got a lot of celebrity adoption. Like, I think I saw that even T-Swift is in on this one.
Yeah, so they've had celebrity adoption over the past few years, on and off, but I think that's not, I mean, it's important, but it's why
no, it
they
is
have
important
celebrity
because
adoption.
I think there was a sweater that T-Swift rocked, and now everybody on Twitter is saying that that thing is sold out. You can't get it anymore.
Yes, but Jordan, normally I would get excited about that, but I think the narrative here is they will continue to have those celebrity moments, but the celebrity moments are because the actual value of the brand is real. It's legit, right? Meaning they're gonna keep coming and coming and coming, and even without the celebrity moments, there is so much authenticity in the merchandising. The merchandising is great. Somehow, season after season after season, this is a founder-led company, okay? And the merchandising is just dead spot on every season, which is really phenomenal. If you go back to Target, remember when Target, like 8-9 years ago, started killing it with merchandising? This company just kills it season after season.
It's tough, and you compare them to Lulu, but they're not just a Lulu, right? I mean, they offer a wide variety of apparel.
No, they're not a Lulu at all. They're not a Five Below, but I'm saying it's a similar cult following.
It is, and it's one of those
stuff. They've got a big, wide variety of SKUs that satisfy people. So that's a testament that if they can keep all of their line up to date, it's a tough thing to do.
This is one of those stocks, though, that after I read the report and then watched a few TikToks, I immediately bought the stock.
Did you really?
Yes.
That's great.
That's it. That's all it took. And I didn't do deeper research. That's what it took. Okay, so the name of the company, yes.
Can we all agree that the first thing anyone needs to do is immediately go read the high conviction report in the Discord channel on this company?
Yeah.
Go to dumbmoney.tv/Discord. Go to the
That's an invite to get in.
The high conviction report channel, and you will see in the high conviction report channel, like 5 or 6 reports ago, there's a company report on, what's it called, Dave? Aritzia.
Yes, Aritzia.
Right? Aritzia.
Ticker symbol ATZ in Canada, and that tracking stock is ATZAF, which I love. ATZAF. It's ATZ. It's Aritzia AF.
But ATZ is not the U.S. symbol, guys. That's the Canadian symbol. So you can't trade ATZ in the U.S. market. You'll buy the wrong stock. It's ATZAF. But if you buy ATZAF and you bid it up, you're going to lose all that money because it's going to come right back down. So don't
do a market order on that.
It's
a pink sheet ADR.
What?
It's a pink sheet OTF ATR, and so I mean you got to play limits on that thing.
I plan on moving most of my position into the actual Canadian ticker, and to do that, I have to go through Charles Schwab Global, or you can also, there's a couple other brokerage houses that have international trading, but Charles Schwab Global does. I have to transfer into Canadian dollars, and then I could buy the actual initial ticker in Canada. By the way, you know what I love? People are mentioning parallels here. Someone mentioned Goose. Well, Goose is awesome, but you know what? These guys have a product They call it the puff coat, right? The Aritzia puff coat. And it's almost as popular as that Canada Goose down jacket. It's like $300 to $400. I think the most expensive one is like $450. And people love, I mean, dude, this jacket is on fire. The other big product is the Melina pants. The Melina pants are basically a vegan
It's a vegan leather pant, and yes, that is the one that I saw like 4 TikToks on. I was like, they're going crazy for this pant. So and the stock chart is just off the charts. I'm trying to see if I can show that to you guys, but
stock has doubled this year, but deservedly. Here's what's so amazing, guys. We talked about the pandemic and what certain companies have done during the pandemic. This is one of those companies that took advantage of the pandemic to go all in on e-com, okay? Their e-com business is through the roof. And what does that result in? Now this company has online relationships, digital relationships with all their best customers that allows them to bypass retail. Even though, listen, they are a retailer, they retail their own brand. So basically everything in the store is vertically aligned. All the brands are manufactured and owned by Aritzia, okay? So they win in the store, they win through e-com, they can have that multi-tiered approach. The company has just executed so well through the pandemic that now coming out of the pandemic, last quarter, their sales were amazing. And that's why you saw that big leap up in price. If you read the high conviction report, you'll see that it looks like G-Trend traffic, look like web stats, everything for the brand is continuing through the fall. I personally went to the Aritzia here in my hometown of Dallas, Texas. I interviewed the clerks, and it looks like their merchandising for the fall is spot on. I don't see that as a risk factor, but there is one huge risk factor that kept me from investing a lot of money in the stock.
what's the risk factor here?
The risk factor are floods that they're having right now up in around the Vancouver area, where Aritzia has massive distribution centers, okay? And the thought is that this could hinder their supply chain this quarter. It's a real risk for a Canadian company that has a focus on distribution in Vancouver, where they seem to be having the worst floods maybe they've ever had there. It's insane. Google it. Check it out on Twitter, guys. It's really scary. I don't know what the impact is yet on Aritzia, but it's making me a little bit cautious about going all in on Aritzia until I get further kind of clarification, especially with the stock having moved as much as it has the past few months.
I see people talking about how the stock's run up crazy, and it has run up quite a bit.
For good reason, but hey guys,
I don't think it's that expensive though. I mean, you're talking about, they did like 300 million in sales last quarter. Or more? No, that was the previous quarter. So you're talking about like a 1.2 billion in revenue and like a 5 billion value on the company. I don't think that's nuts.
And they did really take off after the last earnings, but they've been in this like upward momentum for a while now.
Yeah, and guys, remember this. They are a small company, so we're talking about a $4 to $4.5 billion market cap. They have, 60 stores in Canada. In Canada, these guys are killing it, right? In the U.S., they have like 30-some-odd stores, and they're so particular that they're only opening up 6 to 8 new stores a year, which I think is kind of maybe a little bit too conservative. But
that might be the risk factor to me, is that they might just not be growing fast enough. Although their e-commerce is killing.
Yes,
and you don't need retail. You don't need to walk in to buy this stuff. You have TikTokers showing you how great it is, and then you just go buy it.
Yeah, I think once you figure out your size with certain brands, you can just, you just take the chance, and you're like, you know what, I know what I'm gonna look good in.
Jordan, they have 100 stores earmarked in the United States. They only have 30-something open right now.
I mean, I was surprised to find out that we had 3 in Texas, because I'd never heard of this brand before we started talking about it.
You need to go to their store. They have one in Houston. They have one here in Dallas. You gotta. But the most important thing, if you want to understand this brand, is I would recommend everybody go to TikTok and search the hashtag Aritzia and watch between 40 and 100 videos. Realistically, I watched probably 250 Aritzia videos on TikTok, okay? But if
your For You page must be so skewed, by the way.
Yes, but if you want to understand the vibe of the brand, you must watch it TikToks. But not just watch, you must read the comments in the videos, because the only way you really understand a customer base, the only way that you're really going to understand how people perceive a brand, the excitement, the loyalty, what differentiates the brand from other retailers, is you have to read the comments. And I'm talking about thousands of comments. And what you'll see is that people are addicted to the brand. They go in there and they spend way more money than they ever would have anticipated spending. They just can't stop themselves, because it's like a way for the everyday person to feel like they're getting a little bit of a high-end luxury boutique experience on a national brand level. The quality is there. The same way people used to speak about Lulu quality, it's like, I hate that I just spent $130 for these yoga pants, but they just feel better and I like the experience of buying them better. Very similar to Aritzia. People just feel better. It's not fast fashion, right? Yet they're kind of producing products almost as if it is fast fashion, but with higher quality at higher prices, which is kind of an interesting place to be, right?
Yeah.
Sitting between ultra high-end designer brands and fast fashion.
It's like it looks designer and it feels higher end, but so it's not like Forever 21. It's not like the lower price point. It's like those pants, the ones that you mentioned. Those are $148, which, you know, in TikTok land, you're hearing people say, well, you save up for these pants because it's worth it, right? And that creates that aspirational brand that I love to invest in.
Well, Dave, the H&M, everything that you could buy at Aritzia, you can buy at H&M for a third the price, okay? A third the price. But the quality's lower, the experience is not nearly as nice, and it's a totally different experience and level of product. So they're not going to get every customer, right? But they're fitting into what I would consider to be a mega niche. And what excites me about this company is that I think it has massive global potential. Not just here in the US, I think they have global potential. I think someone is going to see this company and they're going to take them out at some point, okay? Because it just very rarely do you have a company that's founder-led, that's proven themselves over decades, taken the time to develop the perfect team, and now is just crushing it with loyalty, crushing it with product, has customers who are passionate about the brand. So it's really, I'm shocked that this wasn't on my radar years ago, quite honestly, but they're kind of creeping up in the United States all of a sudden. Like this last year was a huge year for them in the US, and I love what I'm seeing in terms of customer adoption and customer perspective of the experience and the brand. I love it. I love it so much. I sold most of my TPR, most of my Tapestry I am out of now. And I took that money from Tapestry, which as you guys know was our trade on Coach, and Kate Spade, and I've moved it into Aritzia. Okay, and I'm continuing to move more money into Aritzia. I'm a little nervous about that flood.
So we did have a report that somebody named Joshua says that he lives in Vancouver. He doesn't see any issues in the supply chain. I don't know if he has any sort of insight directly into their supply chain or just in general, but he doesn't think they'll be affected.
I'm gonna put a big ask out there to the community right now, because I gotta leave up in a minute, guys. This could end up being a fairly massive trade for me. I'm gonna call it right now medium to high conviction. I could move this trade to high conviction over the next few weeks to couple months. I'm gonna ask the community to do some work on this. Let's do our store checks nationally. If you're in Canada, I wanna hear from you. Let's find out what channel we're going to discuss this in Discord, and let's get on this one, guys. It's a huge opportunity. Let's not miss it. If we really did just discover the next Lulu, this could be a 10 to 15 to 20xer. Let's do the homework. Let's keep our tabs on this. The big risk is if they miss trends for even one season. If they miss the mark like Lulu did years ago, hitting bad colors. Remember they had bad colors and the stock got crushed? We need to get ahead of that, okay? I don't want to be surprised here if they miss fashion trends going into next spring. I want to know what's happening. So this will end up, I think, being one of my larger positions in my portfolio, but let's stay on this. I promise to get more active in the Discord community. I'll contribute there as much as anyone else does on this trade. Let's do our work. This is a real interesting trade. Let's stay on top of it. Dave, I gotta hop, man.
I know, me
Sorry.
too. I'm on vacation.
How is Mexico, by the way?
So we just got here yesterday, and I got my guacamole, and I had my what did I have? Steak and shrimp last night. This is like a food vacation. I love it.
That's
We'll be
awesome, dude.
we'll be heading to La Paz after this. So,
Okay.
Chris, is literally you're tearing down your studio right now, so
I
you
have
really
to pick up
have to go.
the puppy. Somehow I got stuck with picking up the puppy from the trainer, and I was told that I can't even be 30 seconds late to do it, so I'm all freaked out. I got to get out of here.
Well,
you drive
that's going to do it
fast
for this
enough.
one. Thank you guys for watching. We're Dumb
Next
Money. We
week
will
we're
see
back,
you
right?
next week. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I
Give
brought
us
the
a
whole
thumbs up
setup.
before you leave. Guys, please give us a thumbs up before you leave. And I promise I'll get more active in the Discord with this trade, guys. But we want to hear from you. Go out, do store interviews for us. Let us know what you see.
And we'll be back on probably Tuesday.
Awesome.
So, see you next Tuesday.